Hello and thanks for joining me for this video for some races around Interlagos. This is this week's daily race B, and I've been having loads of fun in the Peugeot RCZ, trying to do what I can to keep up with the Supras and even take a couple of them on. I've had some really great wheel-to-wheel racing over the last couple of nights, so I've put a couple of the best clips together in here, and we even have a bonus race at the end where I'm defending against a Gran Turismo Olympic finalist, which was very exciting to try and defend against somebody like that. So let's get into the races and see how it all went down. So starting off here, this was my second race of the night. First one I did in the Supra, but just didn't really feel comfortable, so I jumped back in the RCZ, and as you can see here, we're starting in 5th place. I really say I have had a lot of fun driving this car around this track. You have to push it really hard, but it feels so much better on the brakes than the Supra, and nowhere near as clunky and heavy. So getting off to a good start here. We're going to be trying to chase down Mimi, the Spanish driver in front of us, also in the RCZ. And you see just how late you're able to get on the brakes in this car coming into turn 1, so you really can get in it late there. It's super stable, and using brake balance still -2, same as the track guide that came out yesterday, so if you haven't checked that out already, then feel free to. And you see there Mimi just gets a little bit wild over the curb, so that's going to allow us to get up alongside. And when you're on the inside here, as long as you get on the brakes at the right time and get the car turned in, there's not really a lot you can do around the outside there. So we're up and into 4th place. Now we're going to try and chase down Faisal here in 3rd, and they're having a bit of a battle up ahead. Really important section to get right here through sector 2, so that double right hander you can gain loads of speed, and you see we're starting to gain up on the Supra. This is the one place where it hasn't really got the advantage of the straight line speed that makes it quite so strong. So we're going to go here and see if we're able to get up on this pack in front and get involved in that action. So as we're coming around towards the end of lap 1 here, you see we're nicely in the slipstream, and as long as you are within, I would say, sort of 4/10, then you really do get a strong suck up to the driver in front of you. So trying to just keep in that zone and keep all the pressure on the Supra that we can. Down the straights he is ultimately going to pull away. You can see there that we were right in the slipstream, right up against his rear bumper, but just manages to pull away a little bit on the start of the straight, and then it's only towards the very end that you start to come back. But we're going to try and keep it really clean, set a good lap and keep lots of pressure on, because ultimately the Supra is a bit of a harder car to drive, so even if you're confident in that vehicle, you're going to be more likely to sort of lose the back end here or there, and we're going to be able to stay a lot more consistent in the Peugeot. Getting on the power nice and early there, and using plenty of this curb to keep up with the drivers in front. You can see there's a real battle going on 1st and 2nd, which is going to help me as well, so the more that can back the driver in 3rd here back up into me, we're going to be able to try and take advantage of that and get a position gain. So see there through all of sector 2, we're definitely the closest that we are through the whole lap to the Supra. I haven't quite learnt a couple of things at this point in the night yet to be as fast as I can be in this car. We do manage to crack the code a little bit moving on, but we're still nicely up and tight with them, and you can see there's a bit of change of position happening between 1st and 2nd, which is only going to help. Now as we're coming down into turn 1, are we going to be able to make a move? I don't think we're going to be anywhere near close enough, because he's now picked up the slipstream with the driver in 1st, but again nice and late on the brakes. They're all getting bunched up together, and there's a little bit of contact there I think, so have to just lift a little bit more than we'd have liked to not get involved in any kind of incident. But we are now coming up the inside of Claudina, I guess you would say that is, on in 2nd place. So we're going to bump Faisal here a little bit, so he's got the inside. We want to work together to try and get past the driver in 3rd here. I've got the inside line and managed to get up along here, and it's just going to get pushed wide, the driver in 3rd there, so we're going to be able to get the slipstream. For a second here I thought that I wasn't going to get the slip, and then he pulled back over, but it's not quite going to be enough, so we're going to have to go for the cutback. So just lift off for a moment and then come back around on the inside, nice and late on the brakes, using all of the cut there, and we do just unfortunately I think cut a little bit too much, so we are going to get a ½ a second penalty. That's the only danger coming through that section, so we're going to have to serve that. But you're going to see here that ½ a second penalty on this track isn't really the end of the world. You can sort of get away with it. The bigger penalties are much more punitive, but as we cut ahead here to when I'm coming around to serve said penalty, see more contact into T1 there in these Supras, tussling for that 2nd place backwards and forwards. And as we're going to serve the penalty on the line here, coming up about halfway or just over halfway down the straight, by the time that you serve it, you're almost at the point where you're going to be braking for the corner anyway, so just brake a little bit later, and by the end of that lap we managed to catch up, but not enough to gain any more places, so we're going to have to settle for 4th there. But in between this race and the next race, managed to set this lap, so just decided to try and absolutely drive the wheels off this car, and it seemed to work. So I was being super aggressive on the power, really late on the brakes, and you wouldn't want to drive like this in the race necessarily, but in the qualifying lap we managed to get a really good exit there through the first chicane, and we're going to see as we come through for the first split, we're just under half a tenth up on our lap, get a really good exit there, and into sector 2 we're coming round pretty much 2 tenths up on the 130.167 that was the best that we'd set for so far in this qualifying. Super important pair of corners here to get on the power nice and early, and we managed to lose a little bit of speed, but then due to the way that we cut that corner, gain it back, and here gain a fair bit of time. So I used the curb to just rotate the car more quickly and get the power down, and it definitely helps, as well as using first here to just rotate the car just for a moment. I really think that helped spin the car around at the higher speed and gain a little bit more time. I'm a little bit gutted with this bit of it because I do just get a little bit too far over onto the curb on the exit here, which costs us a little bit of time, but ultimately we're just over 2 tenths up in sector 2. I mean, I'd already set a good sector 2 on my previous lap, so don't know where that came from, just was chucking the car around all over the place, and that was good enough for a 1:29.906, which is now going to help us for our next race starts. So for our next race, and then we are still going to be starting in 5th, but you see there 30.111 was my previous lap, and that would have had me starting neck and neck with Kimi Vellicini, so really chose my time well to improve the qualifying lap there, and we're starting up in 5th but with a pretty fast field. So we've got Mohammed in the M6 up front, and also the French driver there was particularly quick in 2nd place. Unfortunately, Kingo just catches a little bit of dirt there going around T1 and sends himself to the Shadow Realm, so we're going to take 4th pretty swiftly here. Nothing else really happened in that first lap, but we have managed to catch up with the back of Punterino Chaos, which is a great name. This guy's driving in the Supra, so managed to close up on him through the course of the rest of that lap 1, and we're going to really try and pile the pressure on now and see what we can do to get a move made. Don't get the best exit there through the first chicane, but it's not the end of the world. We know that sector 2 is going to be the strongest place for the Peugeot to do its thing and try and catch up, and he's got very weak slipstream from the driver in 2nd, so going to be relying on that to let him sort of reel back into our clutches a little bit here as we enter into the Peugeot's wheelhouse, sector 2. So can again catch that curb nicely on the right hand side, get on the power super early, braking on the tyre mark here, and we go a little bit wide, but still going to use the curb around this hairpin to rotate the car, get on the power really early and close right up on the tailpipe of Punterino Chaos here. And all we're really thinking of is that I need to get a good exit on this last corner well, it's not really the last corner, but the last proper corner onto the back straight, so that we can be in the slipstream. Now, do manage to get on the power nice and early, and no wobbling from the back end of the car, which is probably my favourite thing about this Peugeot. You can just absolutely stamp the power, and as long as you're being sensible with your steering inputs, then it responds really nicely. So here we are coming flying up behind. He's left the inside open, so we're going to take it. Now all we need to do is brake at a sensible point, and another point where the Peugeot is great, you can brake really late, slam down through the gears, and you see easily we make the corner there. Managed to get the position back, move up the positions into 3rd, and he's going to try and come back now on this next turn, but we've got the inside. We're going to push him as far out as we can while still giving him the space on the track, and then make sure we just hit that apex, get on the power nice and early around that corner, and that's it. Now, not a lot else happened in that race for myself, but there is some bonus Kimi Vellicini action on lap 3 here. So he tries to send this guy off into the pits, and I just absolutely love this because he actually ends up getting bounced off and smashed into the barrier and ends up in 14th place. So fortunately he doesn't always get the better end of things there, Kimi, and end up coming across the line in 3rd place. So another good result, gained a couple of positions there in that race. Now it is time though for our last race of the night, and you can see there that we've got R4M Consta starting in the Z4 in 5th place. Now, this is the driver who represented Greece in the Olympics in Gran Turismo, so really fast guy. He's on his R4M account, so it's obviously he's just having a bit of fun and messing around. But this Z4, I could not believe the performance that he got out of this thing. So we're now starting in 3rd place, only Kingo and Mohammed in front of us. Mohammed, even in the M6, which I don't know how he quite navigates that big heavy car around such a technical track, but he was absolutely flying in that thing. So we're going to be doing everything that we can just to hang on to the slipstream of Kingo in front and try and keep the other Peugeot driver at bay who's behind us. It is a little bit of a relief in a way when you've got another driver behind you in the same car, because at least you know they're going to be braking and accelerating in similar points and having similar strengths to yourself, but it's not that much more reassuring when he's coming up as close behind you as he was just there. But we've managed to get right back up onto Kingo here, and going to just try and keep in the strongest part of the slipstream to keep some distance between ourselves and Villa. I want to say that's Cracovia, as in where Tom Hanks' character from The Terminal's in, but I don't know if that is meant to be Cracovia or that's something that I'm just completely ignorant to. But we're having some good racing with Villa, whatever you say the second part of his name all night, so shout out to him for some good clean driving. Now as we come round here for our first time down the back straight, and we have just slipped off the back of Kingo there a little bit, so we are going to be vulnerable to the driver behind us here, because when you're this far behind you have got a little bit of slipstream, but it's nowhere near as strong as the guy behind me who's now only 3/10 away. So going to see here as we come down into turn 1, he's got loads of slipstream. He's going to come flying up the inside now. Does make a bit of a late move there, and I think he knew it, so fair play. He lifts and lets us back through, and we are going to be able to continue on in our pursuit of 2nd place. But what we're going to see now is Consta making a move up the inside, so he comes up alongside. He's obviously going to be able to be really late on the brakes in that Z4 and gets the traction to get the power down nice and early, and all of a sudden he's coming behind, which you think, okay, Z4 4/10 behind, not going to be a big problem, but cutting ahead here now, suddenly he's getting just that a little bit closer. He's going to be really strong through this section, and Kingo there does get a 1 second penalty though, so absolutely loving the sight of that. And then, believe it or not, he actually goes and gets a seconds penalty. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Really unlucky from him, so he ends up with 2 seconds to serve, and he's going to serve that as we come across the penalty line here. Now, I said about the half-second penalty not really doing that much. Well, look at that, 2 seconds definitely is going to put you in bad shape. So we've managed to get up into 2nd place, but Consta has also closed up now to 2.5, 3/10 behind us. Now, coming forward to round the end of lap 3, the exit that he gets here, he goes from being nearly 5/10 behind to straight away, for a car that's got no straight line speed, he's suddenly then 3.5 tenths behind. We're going to do what we can to break the slipstream a little bit, but he is ultimately going to have that for the whole of this straight, and before you know it he's down to 2/10. Now stays to the right here because I think he's not quite close enough to make a move into the braking zone for turn 1, but I'm a little bit too caught up on defending from him, and I go too deep there, get a bad exit, and we're now going to have to defend really heavily on the inside coming into this next left-hander. So immediately come all the way over to the left to cover it, make sure I leave absolutely no room for him whatsoever. As soon as he goes across, come into the middle of the track just to use a little bit more to get an angle here. He's going to try and go around the outside, but we've just got enough of a launch there to pull back ahead. But once again, it's going to be a concern that is he going to be able to send the move up the inside here, as suddenly Kingo comes and gets involved. And I think he actually helped me out there a little bit, because he touches Consta a little bit and I think just about put him off. But I've still got to come across strongly to cover the angle off there coming into the chicane. I'm going to just make sure we get the power down nice and early there. I feel like that was probably my strongest corner on the track over the evening. I seem to be pulling out a bit of time to most drivers there. So again, getting on the power really aggressively coming out of the second chicane and onto this slightly awkward long off-camber left-hander. And we're going to try and get a good exit here, but he's a tenth even closer still than what he was the start of the last time. So I know that coming down the straight here into turn 1, Concert's going to be even closer than he was before, so I don't even think about staying to the right hand side. Come all the way to the left and literally keep myself wedged up against the barrier, so he's got no room to squeeze himself into. Once again, as soon as he's pushed to the right, I'm going to come back along to use some more of the track. But again, we do go too deep, just paying a little bit too much attention to where he is and not to the braking marker. Get up alongside this curb and not got an ideal exit, so again we're going to have to defend really strongly into this next turn. Now, what's going to happen here? Are we going to be able to keep it? Once again, he's going to go for the strong move around the outside. Looks like he's going to make it happen, but we just managed to hold on to it there. I do feel like I squeezed him a little bit there. He just about had enough room, and he obviously didn't get a penalty, but that was definitely on the limit of what was acceptable, and I apologised to him afterwards saying, was that a little bit too strong, but he said it was fine, so that's good enough for me. Now here he comes flying up the inside, and I thought he was going to have me there, but fair play, he backs out. I think maybe he felt that was even a little bit too strong in response to me squeezing him a little bit on the previous turn. I thought again maybe he's going to send it up the inside there, but we managed to just keep it ahead. Now all I've got to do is keep it together for one more corner really, and as long as we defend on the inside we're going to be able to hang on to the position. So make sure I hit my braking marker there as the sand changes to the grass, get a good exit coming up out of here, and he's going to be just far enough behind that I hope, because of the straight line advantage that the Peugeot has got, that we're going to be able to hang on to second place. We're still going to have to go up the inside here to make sure that he can't come alongside, and we are going to manage to hang on to second. So really nice couple of podiums there and some great racing. I probably could have put 3-4 more races in this video, but it was just going to get too long and a little bit watered down, so hopefully that was enjoyable for you all to watch. Thanks so much if you've made it at the end of the video. Please do like and consider subscribing if you're not already. It'd be great to see you for some future videos, and we now have the track guides coming out every Monday with Kirith Esports, so we'll have those coming out every Monday for ideally race B and C whenever we can, but always for race B, and look forward to seeing you for some more videos soon. Thanks very much.